In this video, you're going to see how to make a French sponge cake with Grand Marnier flavored pastry cream inside and whipped cream on the outside. It's delicious. Subscribe and ring the bell if you like to see more baking and decorating and a little bit of comic relief with Scott. Begin with the pastry cream. You're going to need 1 orange zested, 4 egg yolks, 3/4 cups of sugar, 2 cups of milk. Give that a stir, and then 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. Add a little bit of the cream mixture to that, and then add that to the full batch. That will help to prevent any lumps. Now you want to make sure to stir that pretty much constantly over medium heat. Once it starts to boil, watch it very carefully and use a spoon. Once it coats the spoon, it's ready. Add 2 tablespoons of butter, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Give that another stir, and you want to put that into bowls. Now I'm putting it in 2 bowls because I want to make one of them with the Grand Marnier and one without. I wasn't quite sure how strong I wanted it to be, so I added a couple teaspoons to start with. To prevent a skin from forming on top of the pastry cream, you want to put some plastic wrap on there with a few holes poked into it and place it right on the surface. Refrigerate until you're ready to use it. To prepare the pans, you want to make sure to oil them well, place wax paper on top, oil them again, and I'm using shortening here, and then flour. You want to just give it a light dusting. This recipe calls for cake flour. I'm making my own cake flour, and you can do that too if you don't have cake flour. Just use all-purpose flour, remove 2 tablespoons per cup of flour, and then add back in 2 tablespoons per cup of flour cornstarch. Sift that, and then measure out 1½ cups. Add a pinch of salt, give that a stir, and then put it in a strainer and put that aside. Melt 6 tablespoons of butter in a saucepan, then skim off the white foam at the top. Put that in a bowl and then set that aside. And now we're going to need another orange zested. Make sure just to zest the outer part and not the white part. Add that to the butter along with a teaspoon of lemon or orange extract. Next, you're going to need 6 eggs, 1 cup of sugar, and give that a stir. The oven needs to be set at 375 for a regular oven or 350 for a convection. Place your bowl over a double boiler, or in this case a saucepan, with hot water. The water should be 125 degrees or very hot to the touch. Continue heating it until the mixture is 110 to 120 and no longer has any granules. Then you're going to whip that for 3 to 4 minutes at medium-high until it looks like this. Now that's not quite done. We're going to continue actually. You want this mixture to be thick enough so that it makes ribbons on itself, just like this. Sift some of the flour mixture over the batter and fold that in. Very carefully. You don't want to burst the air bubbles. And then a little bit more. Take a little bit of that mixture, maybe a cup and a half, add the butter to it, and fold the butter into it. Now I'm folding a little bit more of the flour mixture in there before I put the butter mixture in. And that's the final step. You're going to fold the butter and the batter mixture right in there. Just be very gentle, but make sure that you get all of it. Then it goes into the pans. You can also make sheet cakes, sponge rolls. In this case, I'm making layer cakes. Pop that in the oven, and it takes about 25 minutes or so. I set it for 20 and then I checked it. Now, in the meantime, you want to get your simple syrup ready. Now, the simple syrup recipe is below in the description box. Super easy to do. You're going to add 3 tablespoons of Grand Marnier or some other orange-flavored liqueur. Cakes are ready. They're slightly golden, and I put a knife in there just to make sure no crumbs were attached. Pop those out of the pan and wrap them in plastic wrap. You can leave the wax paper on or peel it off at this point. I peeled it off because I wanted to put a little bit of the Grand Marnier syrup on there, which you can do now or later, or both, like I did. This time I'm using a cardboard round underneath, which is a preferred method. When you're ready to put your cakes together, you could slice them in half like I did here, and I would highly recommend it. These cakes do have a tendency to be on the dry side, so they are meant really to soak up the simple syrup and all the flavors of the fillings. So you want to have thin layers and give them a really good soak. I didn't measure how much I put on each cake. You do have to be careful not to overdo it, but once you do these a few times, you'll figure it out, just like I did. Okay, so the whipped cream goes into the pastry cream because you want to make a nice light filling. Now you don't have to do this, but I prefer it that way. And be generous here with this because this does get soaked into the cake. After having this cake, I realized I could even have added more. More syrup, more filling. These cakes really soaked it up. And personally, I would rather have this filling with my regular orange butter cake. And if you'd like to see that recipe, I'll leave a link below for you and at the end of the video. I prefer the butter cakes over these. Although it's not a bad thing to learn how to make these, and you can make amazing sponge rolls or Yule cakes with these. Sponge cakes are great for that. Another great thing about these is you can add things like nuts, crunchies, sugar. I added sugar on top, and it really added a nice crunchy texture. You almost need to have that with this because it's very creamy and light. So the extra crunch really, really helps to make this cake special. There it is, the crunch. And once you let the cake sit for a day or two, it kind of melds all the flavors together. It was very delicious. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.